All right. I was hoping it would do that. So this drive had started out and it said poor weather detected, full self-driving unavailable. But fortunately it just kicked it back in here. Must have driven a quarter mile or something and then decided, hey, it's not too bad. Sensors are getting clean enough data. So that's good news. Well, I wasn't counting on that working, so I hadn't started the video, but welcome back everybody to Robotaxi and Training. Just running a quick errand, and should be interesting. There's not a lot. This is kind of just a straightaway with a bunch of traffic lights, so ultimately I'll probably accelerate through most of this and then just slow it down for some turns and unprotected lefts and things like that, so enjoy. So cruising along, have had a couple of things through these traffic stoplights. It's wanting to merge. Why do people do that? It's okay. People just cut you off. Anyway, so a couple of things back there. Just cruising through this long straightaway here. It's called Canyon Road, and basically it's just a lot of traffic lights. It's been doing pretty well through them, but I've had two small things. It didn't do very well going through a yellow. I've never had that issue at all on any of the other firmware builds. So it keeps trying to merge over to get around this truck, and then cars are cutting us off. So I think it's going to go this time. There's a big truck coming up behind us on the left. You can do it. You can do it. All right, I'm going to force it here. All right, so no disengagements, but really not loving 10.4 so far. Really seems like a step backwards for some reason. It's it just feels less sure of itself is the best way to describe it. So that's kind of disappointing. And a lot of people have been saying that in other videos I've been watching. So that's too bad. But anyway, I went through a yellow. And then when it turned red, we were already like through the intersection and it started braking for it. So I sent that in to the team to look at, and then it did a funny little kind of really abrupt swerve jerk coming into an just in the middle of the lane. It wasn't too bad. There was a truck next to us, but yeah, it just feels jittery, unsure. But so far so good, staying engaged ever since I engaged it. Did a nice job passing this truck here. Okay, it's merging us over one lane to the right. An ambulance just went the other way and I didn't notice it seeing it, but that was across several lanes in the opposite direction. But that does bring something up. I've definitely noticed, actually I haven't driven enough on this build, but I definitely noticed on 10.3, I had at least one experience where it definitely saw some stopped traffic in an adjacent lane with their turn signal on. and it actually responded to their turn signal, stopped, let them in, and then proceeded. So that was really cool to see, because I've been wondering about that for a long time, how it's going to utilize traffic lights. And I've definitely noticed it, or not traffic lights, but other automotive lights. But I've been noticing tail lights are being picked up pretty reliably. But there seems to be some wishy-washy detection when it comes to tail lights versus brake lights, light intensity, which seems like a very hard problem. So that makes sense. So we'll be coming up on a right turn here, as you can see on the navigation screen, pretty shortly here. A little less than a mile to go. Pretty hard brake there, as traffic was merging in front of us and slowing down for this light. So that was definitely a little excessive. I'll send that in as well. Now we just got a full self-driving may be degraded pop-up. You know, one thing I may do to help with that, my repeater cameras are looking nice and clear, but you can't actually view your B-pillar cameras. So I probably should check those out, maybe make sure that they're not getting fogged up or anything with all this damp weather we're having. It's kind of interesting that FSD broader release is starting to happen in the winter. That's going to keep the FSD team really on their toes through all the rain and snow and things that are coming up. So that's kind of good, I suppose. It'll expose the team to a lot more situations, because that's edge case stuff that if you just work, you could perfect summer driving all summer long, and then winter hits and you realize how bad things really are. So hopefully that'll be a positive, and then if all of that is really tuned up well and solved, then dry weather should only hopefully be even better. But I'm not an optical flow programmer, so I really don't know what I'm talking about. All right, coming up on this right turn, it is feeling a little unsure, but I'm just gonna stay close on the wheel here. Okay, we're waiting at a red light. It's watching our cross traffic from the left. So it's essentially wanting to attempt a right on red at the moment. And traffic is clearing. There's some more cars coming now that I can see. All right, traffic has stopped. It's clear. It could go now. And it's proceeding through. So it was a little overly cautious. There were some cars that were going to be turning right, but I'm not unhappy with that. Okay. Wow. Okay. It just redeemed itself on that whole yellow light situation. Had a really stale, abrupt yellow light there that hit us, and honestly, it was one of those ones where, as a human driver, you really feel torn. Do I buzz through it? Do I slam on the brakes? It just barely started to touch the brakes, and then it made the call, nope, we're going. And we ended up going through on yellow, and it seemed good. So that wasn't too bad. And actually, I'm going to cancel navigation here and take over to get to our destination. So be back on in a little bit. All right, headed back, and we'll see how it does. The rain has let up a little bit, still drizzling, but not doing too bad. Got a right turn here at a stop sign with cross traffic. There is a car coming. It sees it and is stopping perfectly at the line. Beautiful. And it should go. There's a car coming. I had to help. That wasn't great. Not great. It should have just I mean, it saw them back there and it should have just gone, which is interesting because that's, I think that was one of the things that supposedly improved in this version was high-speed cross traffic at a distance. I'll have to reread that. But initially it was doing really well there. Alright, there's another chance for it to do a right on red. Stopping, creeping. There's traffic coming. Now we have oncoming turning traffic. But I think we'll go after them. And it should go. Very nice. That was very good. Little dicey on the curb there, get into that lane, but I was watching it closely and it corrected, so that wasn't too bad. I was tied up in a call there for a little bit, but as you saw, it did some navigating through some back streets, some back roads. Nothing terrible, nothing great. It's just kind of been navigating along. It did do something kind of strange that you may have seen back there a little ways at a stoplight. There was a 3-lane traffic light. Everything was stopped, but the middle lane was open. And it chose to hit the turn signal and merge over to the open lane. So I let it do it because I didn't see any other traffic around. Everything was stopped. It's not something I would have done, though. So that was interesting. But in general, doing pretty well through these traffic lights. I'm still getting a message saying full self-driving may be degraded due to poor weather detected. But I think it is interesting that this came out, this messaging and the more cautious note with the weather. Could be due to the additional ramping of rolling out the beta software. It might just be trying to make it extra cautious so new users aren't overconfident in its capabilities in poor weather conditions. There, it handled that yellow light well, so that is good. And overall doing okay.